Sci-Fi.
Hey everybody, welcome to Real Life Sci-Fi with Wade and Willie. I'm Wade.
I'm Willie.
This is a podcast about the paranormal and contemporary mythology. Join us on patreon.com/reallifesci-fi for access to 2 bonus episodes a week, video feeds, and more. And RealLifeSciFi.show for all of our links. This week, it's a returning guest that we love. It's our friend, Constable Hilton Charles Brown II. What up?
I'm back, baby. Let's shake up the world.
Finishing his dinner.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you see the food hanging out of my mouth?
How's it going, man? So
It's going
you've
well.
been on the show so much, you recalled that your WoW scale is a 3, so we're just gonna skip that.
Okie
Is that
dokie.
cool?
I mean, the people may want to know. They may trust the fake news,
Well, it's coming straight from the source.
but that doesn't matter anymore, does it? Does it really matter now?
Oh yeah, no.
Does it really matter? Because of AI, we can see whatever we want to see. We can see
I
Kanye
can
West.
still tell. I
know.
tell.
Yeah, it's still a weird.
They got Biden jumping around. What's the one that everybody uses? It's a GIF of a musician of some. I don't know if he's a hip hop guy or what.
Gangnam
but
Style.
He just like no.
Is that the one where it's not that one?
It's not that.
Biden
It's newer.
Gangnam
This guy,
Style.
he just comes, he just dances onto the stage, and the camera's kind of following him, and there's like 5,000 people, and for whatever reason, they're putting everybody's face on that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I just saw this Gangnam Style thing with I think it was on a Bill. I don't know what show it was on, but it was interesting to see that 11 to 12 years later. And
Yeah,
remember
I was
how
gonna say, was it a
popular- how-
rerun?
No, you know what it was? It was Jay Leno's spoof where they put his face on Gangnam Style. We actually showcased that on the talk a couple of years back, but it's weird how those things are still phenomenons.
Again,
Well,
it
it
makes
takes
sense that Jay Leno would use something from 10 years ago.
right. And it takes a couple months for the older to get it, and then a couple more months for those older to get it. Then the news stations start playing it when it's already gone and passed, and it gets reintroduced to old people that missed it.
Yeah.
I guess you could say it's like funny again. It's been so long that maybe he's doing alt humor. But wait, Jay Leno's off. He's done, right?
Oh yeah.
This was a couple years ago.
Yeah.
When
This
did
is
he quit? Was it just a couple years ago?
I want to say maybe 5 years ago.
Well, since we're skipping the WoW scale, should we just get straight to the topic?
Tonight on Real Life Sci-Fi, the worlds that we create. As humans, we're not just passive observers of the world around us. We're active creators of our own realities through our thoughts, beliefs, and actions. The worlds we create reflect our individual and collective beliefs, shaping our perceptions, experiences, and interactions with the world. But many times, these worlds are created for us. Some good, some bad. What worlds do you live in tonight on Real Life Sci-Fi? I think we can skip the religious one because we've talked about religion. But last time I think you were on Hilton, or one of the last couple of times we talked about belief, but ultimately, just to sum up religion, politics might fit in this too. Your parents teach it to you, and then a lot of people get to learn about other ones, but a lot of times they don't, and then that's just what they have until they either die or change that belief by getting exposed to other things and change their minds. I don't know. Just saying that, like, I think with religion and politics, your first impressions would be your parents, and then you get influenced by your friends, and then
That first thought is actually not your own free will.
Yeah.
so you
Like
get
it's not
beliefs
based on
pushed onto you.
Yeah.
Is that every world?
I would
give
say
me another
so.
example of a world.
Gender.
What?
Gender assignment.
Explain.
I mean, there's the X and the O. There's the binary, right?
Oh no. Are we
I
going
know.
there this early?
I mean, this is early right out of the gate.
Grandpa.
But there are. I mean, just as an example, like now we live in a time, and it's maybe relevant to how we're creating worlds metaphysically now, because the sensibility that people have today is way different from a more binary existence like 1951. One's sexual ID was not an idea. It was, the same as it exists in every other form of nature, defined by the genitalia and the function of the reproductive system. And today, that's not quite the same. So, a person who's trying to create their own world, even if it's only in their mind, so that they can make peace with whatever or deal with things, the resources that they're drawing on are so varied and vast now that it's just different. And I think that there's a disconnect generationally because of that.
Yeah. I was going to say, to someone who's already created their own world, it's going to be hard to add a couple trees to their world and make the whole thing different.
Oh, yeah. Wow. And it's funny when you say that, add a couple trees. What if we look at this conversation like, not to, use some corporate brand, but Unreal Engine. When you said add trees, I thought Unreal Engine, like, yeah, it's hard. You've already defined your world.
Yeah.
And now other people are trying to exist in that space at the same time. And you have to accommodate them if you want to invite them in or not. And they just choose to not even be a party to it or whatnot. So it's just really interesting. I like looking at the intersection of consciousness, how we see ourselves today. Can you imagine a woman today? What would happen if a woman said, hey, I want to be back in the kitchen. We had it good, barefoot, pregnant in the kitchen. That was a thing. That was an expectation. That was a role, an assigned role in society. And so think about, it's funny. What just went through my head is the Barbie houses.
Yeah.
Remember those? The big Barbie houses that the girls created, and they built all this stuff, and then they could open it up, and then you could put things exactly where you wanted. They were creating their own worlds then, right?
Except
in their imagination.
They only had 2 mansions to choose from, but yes, you're right.
Is that seriously? They only had 2?
I'm sure that there were more, but for a long time there was just one that had a big slope on it.
Yeah.
It was like a
kind of resembled the Brady Bunch house.
Yeah. Well, I like the idea of Unreal Engine or going into a game because I picture somebody buying some skin pack that the other person doesn't get. So, sometimes there's glitches where you don't even see that other skin.
Yeah. Because like in that, if you're looking at it through like the lens of the Unreal Engine world, where everyone who's interacting in that space has their own VR goggles, their own symbolic way that they can see the world. I may be interacting with you in your space, but I'm still within my own world and within your world at the same time. And anyone else who comes in, we are now all in this multiverse because we're all living in our own version of what we're creating. It's like decor on a wall.
Yeah, I just experienced this. I went home and to work on something close to home, and I got to see my family for a second. And I'm not preaching to them about stuff, but we're talking about different dyes and additives and all these other things, and I know that they don't fully believe anything I say.
Maybe they're just bored. You come home and you're talking about additives and dyes.
No, I mean, I'm not bringing it up. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
And you're not bringing it up because do you feel like you're trying to plant a tree in their metaverse or in their
bring up much with anybody because nobody wants to hear it. It's weird to have this show. Maybe this is why we have the show. Like so many people don't give a shit about what I say, and that's fine. I don't need to tell everyone what I think.
But you still have your beliefs, and they are different. Do you wish that they would join you on the journey, or that is there a part of you that feels like they are asleep by choice? Because I look at somebody saying these things and I think instantly about like, oh shit, you're talking about like dyes in food, dyes in clothing that can affect my physical body that I live in, the only one that I have. There is nothing that is of the utmost importance than that.
I pass on the body scan at the airport. I get the pat down, which normally takes way longer. The person behind me wanted to do that too. And so I said, can I bypass this and get the pat down? Like, yeah, you're going to have to wait. We don't have someone here, whatever. And then the girl behind me goes, I'm going to do that too. You all have a choice. She said it real loud to the whole line.
Wow.
And I'm like, you're right. But like,
wow.
Like,
but then you looked at her and she had a flat earth shirt on. And
but what happened in that situation? Was there like did they pass you guys through?
I feel like there was a passive aggressive thing going on to make it even slower. It took so long, and I don't mind whatever. I got there 3 hours early. When somebody says something like that out loud, it's like I might as well just turn around and say, "Hey, God isn't real either," and then try to high five her, see if she agrees. It's like, just project your beliefs and your worlds onto other people.
Don't project your beliefs on their building, on what they're constructing, because that's when it's
That's my next move. God isn't real either. High five, or Jesus is not God. High five. or whatever,
Whoa.
like high
Whoa,
five.
this guy. It's bizarre. Because if you think about what we are constructing, like the worlds that we build, and they're like houses built out of matchsticks. The slightest flame can burn your whole house or your whole belief system down. And I was thinking about this before we got on. I think that what's really important is to figure out the why they're creating the worlds that we're creating, the spaces and the worlds that we're creating. From why do I have a Japanese garden in my backyard? From that to why are we really trying to attempt to colonize Mars as a species? But we as a species are not really trying to colonize Mars. There are a few people that have the resources that are focused on reaching away from this planet that we live on. What do they think they know that everyone else doesn't know, that you can now reach beyond anything that is ever known to mankind?
I mean,
to
I like
create a new space.
I like the idea of having that be a goal, but it really has to be a community goal. You can't like just have a few people doing it because they've got all the money. Let's say they burn all their money getting out there and then they need help getting back. Like, who's going to pay for that?
What happens when the oxygen generator goes on the brink? What happens then? And it's a 4-year journey to get there. I don't understand. Can I say like bad words, right? Like, what the fuck are we doing? That's less important than solving what we can do here and creating a better place here. And again, I think it goes to the why. Why are we not creating a more serene place for us to exist in this in the bodies that we have? We all know we're on the same planet. There isn't an escape pod. Is there the hope that, oh, well, if something really happens, some rich person figured it out and they've made enough provisions? There was something kind of like that happened. Oh yeah, that was the Titanic, where a shit ton of people died because provisions weren't made for everybody.
Yeah.
They really weren't made for. How could you possibly accommodate every person on Earth moving to another planet?
Yeah, definitely not. And
and
who decides the hierarchy of that list?
Who decides what planet we're going to? Like, what the fuck do you actually know about where we're landing? You have a precursory look. You've done a looky-look. You've driven by and you looked in the windows. You saw a very minute, small portion of a planet. And you are trying to extrapolate. We can exist in this space. You are trying to create a whole place for us to exist. I think that's all about our ego. The human ego. I think the why stems from the human ego for all of us.
So when I picture this world building and just all the different belief sets or whatever that I have that have created my world, I think that my goal is to make my world as big as it can be. Try to take in more information all the time about everything. I wonder if people would rather just have a small world, I guess is what I'm saying. Because every time you take in new stuff, I feel, the ignorance is bliss comparison is like, gosh, would I rather just have a tiny planet that not too many people are on? Tiny world, I mean, small communities.
I mean,
you do because you want everyone to get along, right? That's the only way that would ever happen.
Yeah.
What if we go ahead? Will.
Go on.
Like what I was thinking about it.
You go.
Hey, dude, you were intruding on my world, bro. We're talking at the same time, bro. We can't exist in the same space at the same time.
Bro, your world's running into mine, man. Back off.
Bro, our worlds are collashing, bro. There's this thing that, like, I was thinking about it earlier when I was trying to figure out, like, how do we get from the why in our mind to a physical act that is the creation of space for us to exist in? And maybe what we're doing is we're just resisting against the things that don't feel right to us. Like, if we think about ourselves as you are a planet, Will, Wade, you're a planet, Hilton is a planet, and we are all bumping into each other here on this planet inside of an atmospheric bubble that allows us to survive. And we are supposed to coexist like that, have our micro worlds, the things that make us whole in our bubble. And we're not supposed to necessarily metastasize or attach ourselves to other bubbles, but instead be bumped around in this space. It's like stars in the galaxy, like falling stars shooting through space. They don't collide and then have a union and now they're one. No, there's a fucking cataclysmic explosion that happens. And then the two stars that were coming together will never be the same ever again.
Yeah, that's a great parallel. And then sometimes they'll coalesce or take a little bit of each, but sometimes they just blow up.
But the majority of what was is consumed. I think it kind of goes down to the human condition, man. Like when you were saying whether people want less, I think the humble want less. Those that feel it necessary to suffer and have humility want less. They're satisfied with less. Those that are more ego-driven or egocentric or narcissistic, they want a little more. Those that have more, what is the more for them? It is to separate yourselves from the other degree of more that's behind us. Like, you're rich too, but we went to Mars. What the fuck did you go to Mars for? You went up there. What the fuck did you do? I can tell you how much it cost, and I can tell you how much it would cost to fix the shit here in a place that we haven't even finished creating yet.
Yeah.
We human beings are the solar flares on fucking Earth. Every once in a while, we will set off atomic fucking bombs that will have an impact on our atmosphere. All the time we're shooting shit out into space, bursting through atmospheric layers, leaving fucking holes.
Yeah. Just testing.
We're just fucking testing. Like, what if it collapses? What if we stretch that elastic band of atmosphere so far that it won't come back? Then what do we do?
You can't blame it on anyone because we don't know who's doing the testing. I mean, there are people that do know.
But I can tell you who isn't doing the testing. The regular people.
Yeah, 90% of the world.
90% of the world. The ones who are happy. I just want my little place, my little cutout. Hey, whoa, I'm sorry. Are you sitting out on the bow of your yacht out in the ocean right now during this podcast? No, you're in a closet. I'm sitting at my table. Wade standing in the living room?
It's like a kind of dining nook area, I believe.
A very small little space. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, my place is great. It's big.
No, but I'm saying like it's a large place, but the place where you're doing the thing that you're actually doing isn't the whole place. And it isn't even about your place. The houses, the environments, the worlds that we create are not actually about the space that we need. It's about the space that I think we believe we need based on what our influences are. If you grow up in the dark, you are seeking light. If you grow up in too much light, you want a little bit.
But then roommates suck. Like, I don't.
Absolutely.
Like, it sucks having a roommate.
Oh, roommates are horrible.
But I could probably fit someone else in here. But it's not because of a worldview. It's because I've lived through having roommates.
Me too. But with roommates, I can't walk around in my drawers. That's what it is. I want to walk around in my drawers. My dog don't mind. The dog don't care.
I don't know if people can see in these windows,
Yeah.
So I kind of don't do that anyway. No one can ever see me shirtless.
No. So the world that you're constructing is a shirted world. So everyone's glasses.
I was thinking,
everyone's goggles.
I'm like rewatching. That would be amazing. What about that? If we had glasses that put clothes on people and everyone didn't have to wear clothes anymore.
Now
you just have an some AR glasses that just assign clothes to people.
Now we're talking.
You can change them yourself.
But
you can dress them up however you want.
But you know where that would go, though, right? You know where that would go. How long would it take for that to turn into perversion?
Oh, well, but it's kind of based in perversion, right? If everyone's walking around naked,
it
would be like a nudist colony's dream, If here's how it would have to happen. There's a nudist colony, and they become a cult, and they get very evangelical about it, and they take over the government, and they're nudists, and they say, "No more clothes. Everyone has to be free now." But then the nerds are like, "No, that's horrible." So then they invent these AR goggles that just put clothes on everyone. That's a pretty good
Yeah.
future, right? If that's what we have to worry about, like being
Yeah.
forced to walk around naked, that's good.
We
Well,
find out that
there's
making clothes is not green at all, and we got rid of
Oh my
gas and
God,
excess
everything is such a
clothes.
fucking
well, we
bummer
already
for
know that
you.
though. We already know that though. Like with
That's what
fast,
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But
yeah,
in my planet, it's fine. Oh well, yeah, they don't need clothes, so it's actually good for the
Yeah,
planet.
yeah. I was just
Sorry,
trying to come
Willie.
up with a
Sorry. No,
justification
I'm
behind it.
sorry. I'm sorry.
wow, that is
I was
interesting.
I've just been I've been thinking about your mineral dye whatever talk with your parents or your mom and family, and I just don't. Not, and this isn't, well, I guess everything is the topic, right? Because we're talking about living in our own worlds. So my world, the reason that we conflict on that thing is like we're old enough. We made it. I'm fine to die, you know? I don't need to extend this any longer.
No, I get that. There was a huge protest this week against Kellogg because of all of the even just
Hmm.
food coloring that they're putting in their food. Didn't
Hmm.
make the news, and they're not going to change anything just because a few people
But what's
protested.
wrong with the food coloring? Like we outlawed the red one or whatever in the 80s that gave you cancer, right?
Well,
Yeah, but
the rest of them are pretty bad too.
I was just about to say, yeah, but you still got yellows and blues and every other one,
Yeah,
but they didn't.
I don't believe it.
But that's happened with everything. That's happened with because I work on cars and I strip down cars. It works with it's the same thing with like automotive paint strippers. What was good then, now
Yeah.
they've changed it so you can't. There's certain chemical elements that are not in it anymore. That company is still allowed to sell you a product that does a lesser job. It's no way close to what the other application was, but they're still making money off of a brand, an idea of, hey, we can't use those anymore because we were told not to, because it gives your kids or your family fourth ears,
Right,
like third
right.
and fourth ears. But hey, go ahead and still stay aligned with this brand, even take it a little bit closer to home. Go ahead and go to McDonald's every day. Eat that stuff every day. In fact, it's going to be cheaper. This is a world that we've created. We, the people, are the ones that create it. We know that these things are bad for us, and we are still slaves to a system. Before I forget, let me ask you this question, Wade. The world that you have created today, which is Wade's world,
Wade's World, party time.
how close to the world that you were born into is your world today? Because this is what you created. What we're born into is not where we're created. That's our origin story that we have no control over. Superman just woke up one day after being knocked the fuck out as a baby with a cape wrapped around him in a cocoon in a fiery hole in the ground. How close today?
There's nothing in common with my old. I have not one thing in common. Nothing is the
And
same.
what made Wade make Wade's world the way that it is today? What was the thing that moved you to create this the way it is now?
If we want to get kind of like philosophical about it, I don't think there's anything else that it ever could have been because I never chose to be a writer. I liked writing stories and stuff in grade school and stuff. I've never been a big reader, but like then you get to college and I had like four different majors. I could not figure it out. Like I didn't know what I wanted.
Or they couldn't put
And
you in
I
a
finally
box.
was just well, yeah, but I finally was just like, oh, those stories that I used to write and like making videos with my friends is the best, most fun thing. And that's kind of actually a career, maybe.
Yeah.
So I just pursued that
Yeah,
really.
and
And
you weren't like rebelling against a lifestyle or anything. You just kind of went with the flow and
no. Yeah, no, it's entirely different. My dad is a business guy, you know. He's like a salesman, business kind of guy, and I couldn't be that if I wanted to. I look at numbers and stuff, like business stuff, and it's just like, what is this? It's like it might as well be Sanskrit. I don't
What
get it.
about what about your mom?
I don't know. I feel bad for my mom because I don't know that she ever got a chance. Like we were you were talking about get back in the kitchen type stuff. It was never like that, but it was like,
That
she became a wife and then raised us and then had kind of like jobs,
yeah,
just jobs. So I don't know that she ever like got to be passionate about anything.
having been a single dad, understanding the world that I am creating for my daughters was very fulfilling for me. And when I see them now as adult women, I'm like, oh wow, okay. I understand that that was as influential as me becoming the vice president of communications for IBM,
Mm-hmm.
because the amount of effort and energy that it took was just in a different direction, but it still took a toll. There was a price I had to pay. Sacrifices had to be made. But the need to create, the root of the question, and the same question applies to you, Willie, is the root of it is because I think that like I've made conscious efforts to make certain that the world is different for me. Like I have a place of peace that I've created for myself. And I really understand how important that is to me when that place of peace is threatened.
Yeah.
And to what end I will go to defend my space. Like, you got to get up out of here then. You can't be raising your voice in my house. You got to go. Nothing personal, but this is not the space for that. This is the world that I have created. Why I've created this world is because, maybe the alternatives, things that I'd seen before weren't, conducive. People move from bad neighborhoods to better neighborhoods because they're better schools. Those schools aren't for you. You already survived the bad neighborhoods. Those schools are so that you can create a better environment for your children or for other people. We are conditioned to go against what is intuitive for us. I think that we are intuitively drawn to help one another. That's our first primary instinct. We see someone who's hungry. First thought is, I want to help feed you if I can.
I wonder how subjective that is, though, because that can't be the case for everybody, right? Or
not for
right?
everybody,
like,
but if the majority of people felt like that throughout history, we would not be where we are today. There wouldn't be a bleeding heart to stop war. Like we look, without even going into it, we understand that the consequences of war and conflict is that there's death and that people get hurt. And that ultimately, if you're arguing over something or we're fighting over something and we're losing lives about it, there is a breaking point where it becomes Pyrrhic in its victory. Yes, you win, but it comes at too great a cost. Like, what have
ideally.
we won? So I'm just saying, like, I think in a general sense, it goes down to like a baby crying. We have this instinct to pick the child up and try to figure out what's wrong.
Yeah, but that's because it's annoying.
True.
It's science.
Yeah, no,
they made it
true.
Annoying so that we would want to shut it the fuck up.
But there are people like this. This is again the why. Like, if you're a person that doesn't have children, that's not in you the same way.
Yeah,
it's not. And the older we get, like, yeah, I'm cool. Like, I love women and I love kids. Hey, my rule was simple. Your kids have to be the same age as my kids. Because, hey, look, it was cool. And I went through it and it was nice. But I'm 52 years old right now, man.
Wait,
I'm not trying to.
Did you want the kids to hook up?
Hell to the no. No.
That's why you needed them to be the same age so that they would hook up.
No. I can anticipate where you are. Like, I don't want to go pick it up from you get it. Like, daycare is different from leaving, $15, for you for tomorrow because I got a late meeting, get you some pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's funny actually.
Like diaper again. Yeah.
Right.
Well, hanging up with, I'm not gonna have kids. I don't like kids. All my friends have kids and they all are different stages. And so I'm like living a bunch of like little mini parenthoods.
You see the range
like when I hang out with Acosta, they're just like, I don't know where Chloe is. I think she ordered a pizza or something. And I'm like, oh, awesome, dude. Like, I can hang out with you guys again.
Oh, 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 oh.
That's the best when they're teens. They can just do whatever they want. It's awesome.
So I stopped by my friend's house this weekend, and his kids are adults now. So I was just cussing the whole time. We were, not that that makes it cooler, but I just,
But but they're real people now, right?
Yeah.
Now there are no more, okay, earmuffs. No, you can say, no, that fucking piece of shit over there, got on my nerves today. Not the kid, but a scenario or a situation you're talking about. You don't have to change,
Right.
which I guess would be along the same lines as like code switching. It's on the same lines. You have to be different around kids. You have to be different around your coworkers. You have to be different around, everyone. But which goes back to, I think, why we create the worlds that we create is because everywhere outside of the world that I've created for myself, what we hear here, nothing. Everything outside of this is not this. I like this. I don't want to fucking be in a mall with a whole bunch of fucking kids. Yeah.
Malls are great though. Kids don't go there anymore. You can go to a mall now. It's like empty. It's the best.
That's how traumatized I am.
I was thinking about the code switching thing, and I feel like it's impossible for me to get an actual real job because like I go into the interview and I'm so used to like interviews being meetings where you just talk about interviews in this industry are just like personality tests basically. It's like, can I spend every day with this person? Like real interviews, they're asking me about like work ethic and stuff, and I'm just it's just like, this is weird, man. Like what, real whatever, my weaknesses and strengths and shit like that. And it's just dawning on me. I don't know if it applies to this conversation at all, but I've never code switched for work. I've always just been myself.
And that's cool.
You can't.
I think it's a detriment. Oh, I think it's a total detriment. Like I think like if I would have, I might be better off,
But you also understand that you're selling a little bit of your soul for a thing.
Yeah, see that I'm cool with that too, because I'm like, dude, I feel like the ethical questions that you get asked in interviews is to like see if they can tell if you're lying.
They don't know if you're lying. These people who interviewed me, they don't know. These two idiots who work at, what was it? It was some charity or something.
I have a really short little bit to tell you about this exact scenario. I think, Wade, that maybe the reason why you can't do that is because do you feel a little insulted that somebody's asking you these bullshit questions? The standard battery questions that you ask every other person that really does. If I prep for the meeting, I can easily answer your questions and lie my way through and bullshit my way through it. It has fuck all to do with it.
It wasn't even insulting. It wasn't insulting. It was more just like, I know that people, and this is really hard for me to say, but I know that people like me.
Yeah.
And so when I go into an interview, I'm just like, it doesn't matter what I say. I'll be charming and it'll be fine.
It'll get me through.
In these interviews, they actually want like real answers.
but they want real answers. They want real answers to the questions that they're asking, the battery of questions. If you're not a nice person and you answer the exact same answer as someone that is charming, the charming one is going to get the job.
No, I know. Memorable. Yeah, but it's
because
just
they
like
also have to gauge what the interaction is going to be like in the space with all of the other people. So that component of knowing the stuff it's important, but so is how are you going to interact with all of your peers? What is the energy that you're going to infuse into this environment that you're going to be thrust into? What is this world that I've built going to look like after we move you in?
Yeah. Also, though, like
right.
I don't like rebel again too hard because I'm good at like being a team player and having fun at work. You know what I mean? I always have a good time at work. But in the back of my mind, I'm always listen, everyone in my family, I've watched them and myself just break their backs for everyone else, all for these companies where, well, you might get some recognition, not that that's what it's about. Well, you might get a little raise, but you're never going to have your own company from being good at someone else's. Just to watch my whole bloodline just kick ass for people that are making a lot of money. And I'm fucking tired of it. And I love it when people don't have good work ethics, because I'm just like, yeah, dude, why are you working so hard for these? Like, these guys are the bad guys. Like, I'll have fun. And I don't want to work with someone also that's like making me do extra work.
How has that influenced how you work, the world of your work, like your work world, and
So
how you work? Because
I
you
like,
will not just do whatever somebody is asking you to do. You're not going to do that shit that you saw your elders, your family members go through. You are decided that my world is going to be built this way.
you've worked with me for years, and
Yeah.
when it's time to get shit done, I'm good at it.
Yeah.
And when it's time to hang out, I'm good at that too. But I also will have tempers, you know. Well, I also get
Yeah.
mad at work. It's
Oh,
it's
I
weird.
know. Yeah. No, but I mean, because you can see the layers of interactivity in your life. And when you feel like you're getting frustrated, is that because you feel like you are slipping into the same stream that those who went before you went down? And because now I got to fight back because I'm
Yeah.
not going to relegate myself to
Well,
being that.
I've had so many long-term jobs that I walked away from. Like, I walked away from weeds a couple times because I'm just like, man, I'm doing too much for you guys. Like, I'm out of here. I'm gonna go try to be an actor. And I left the talk for the same way. Like, I leave these jobs because I'm like, dude, I'm fucking bending over backwards for you, and I should be doing that for myself.
And these jobs are just a means to an end anyway. Like
Yeah.
Wade, like me. I had a job. I was director of operations for a promotions and advertising company for 10 and a half years. I left that company. One of the company's owners, my old mentor slash partner, blah, 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 their son put me up for another gig at this other company. And I just done 10 and a half years. I felt like I'd been released from some type of confinement. And I sit down in this interview, Wade, and they start asking me this battery of questions. It's a guy and a girl. I already know I already got the gig. But they started asking me these questions that they started asking everybody else. And the only thing that's going through my head is now I'm in the driver's seat. I have an opportunity. I'm not in the driver's seat with this company. I'm in the driver's seat for my own life. How I'm going to build what the rest of this is going to look like for me. And you guys are asking me some bullshit questions that have no fucking relevance to whether I can kick ass and take names when I come here. That's what I do. I kick ass and take names, no matter what I'm doing. I could be shucking corn. You know what I am? I'm a corn. I'm a corn shucking motherfucker. I'm saying, but I think that's something, ironically, that all three of us who are in the same space at the same time, who have all created our own space, who have created our own worlds, the way that we need for them to be unrelentingly. And I think that there's some stuff that some of that groundwork it's not a rebellion against things, but it's using what I've seen, and I'm going to be actively in control of the narrative from here going forward. And a lot of people don't do
that. Like, well, you just qualified it with that last sentence. I was hoping I could get to you before that last sentence.
Oh, go ahead.
I wanted you to apply that line of thinking to the people who are colonizing or attempting to colonize or even get to Mars. Like, what if it's just me and writing, and they're just like, I don't know, I always just wanted to go colonize Mars. I don't know how you would.
You know who I think they are? Jim Jones.
Yeah, I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Led all these people out into a pasture way over some other place. But what do we know about power and its ultimate effect on the human condition? Because we are not sophisticated at all. yet we still act like we're fucking sophisticated. Like we have the ability to say, oh, yes, I know everything. What the fuck are we going to try to colonize Mars for? Stop
Is
it.
it weird to say that, like, I don't really mind if everyone who joins a cult dies? Like,
fucking Wade. Fuck, dude. Yes.
Because
it's not weird.
That's
it's
wrong.
Just,
that's wrong to say. I just feel like if you're dumb enough to like let some guy tell you to shave your head, and
are they dumb? Are they dumb, or are they hopeful?
Yeah.
Are they hopeful?
Well,
No,
here's the thing.
dumb.
Here's the thing about a lot of these cults, right? They have great ideas and ideals, but then the leader just takes advantage of their power.
I know
it's
there's
always
a lot
that.
of manipulation and brainwashing and
power
stuff like that.
corrupt.
But there's sure, that on the authoritative side of it, yes. But and these people just like, it's like quicksand or whatever for them. Before they know it, they're up to their neck. I get it. I just like could never imagine myself trusting someone that much to completely change my life and like do these things. Like,
but think about what you just said.
They're dumb.
Think about what you said, Wade.
I have empathy for them, but I think they're
you
stupid.
You could not trust someone else to choose for you.
I said that very explicitly. I chose that word because
it
says
I'm right
something
there fucking
about
with
me.
You. I'm right there fucking with you.
Right. I think that makes us smart.
I think it definitely
makes us street smart.
Definitely. But the idea of even street smarts is rooted in the idea of what makes you street smart is that you've seen some shit, so you're a little wiser for the lessons. And those that have not,
maybe in your case, man, I'm pretty privileged, dude. Like I don't know. I don't.
In a global perspective, if you live in America, you are very privileged at any state, even if you are homeless in America.
Yeah,
yes,
for real.
It's bad, but you can still get to. You have access to. You can decide one day, I'm going to walk into that building and I'm going to ask some questions. I'm going to give up the ghost, give up this fight for my idea of freedom that's wrapped up in street life, addiction, disconnection from systemic oppression. The only difference between them and us is that I think we understand that you got to get your ass up and work. It ain't just gonna happen. Even if you fall on hard times, because I'm not accusing anyone of being lazy. I'm just saying help ain't coming. It ain't coming.
It's funny because these are like, we just got done talking about like Willy's whole family giving themselves up for hard work to like pay bills and stuff like that, and so it's like, okay, so what's the happy median there? Like, the system is like inherently kind of flawed, because it's like, I don't know, it's like, how much is too much when it comes to Willy like quitting his weeds job or whatever? Like, why didn't you angle for a promotion or something so that you wouldn't be like how is that just not an option? Or
no, the only way to get promoted in the movie business is to take someone else's job.
Somebody's got.
But it's weeds, right? Don't they get a increased budget every season? And you just
no.
I'm honestly asking because I don't know.
No.
They try to keep it the same.
Television shows, when you get approved for this budget in the beginning, that's your budget for the rest of the show.
So crew people don't get bumps every season?
Nope.
You get, on some shows, you get the bump just for
what's your union doing?
The union bump. No, for reals, dude. The union's like,
you get a union bump.
They're not doing a good job. They're doing a good job making money for themselves.
But at the same time, they are doing a good job, because like when I would do union shows, and like if it's an award show, you get a buyout. I get paid for residuals up front now. So I get my regular pay plus another $1,000. But they're buying you out.
Aren't buyouts kind of a way to
back end? Yeah.
But isn't that kind of a way to screw you?
Yeah.
When they have to pay you more in the back end?
No, not real. Well, I mean,
I think the old system. The old system, yes.
Go ahead, Will. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
The
there's
old, the
like
old,
no residuals anymore.
yeah,
Sure.
the old system there was, but because of streaming, like the residuals
Oh
of
yeah,
like
they knocked that shit right out, which should have been knocked out a long time ago.
they used to be
But I
huge.
think, hang on, because I don't want to talk about
Yeah,
the
yeah.
fucking business. I started it. I started it. I'm not admonishing you. Um, this is kind of a big question because we've all created these worlds, right? Like, because not everyone's happy, but they've still created this world. I'm just trying to think of like how much of this is fate, because I feel like I've had very little control. The only big thing I ever did was move to LA, right?
Dude, I feel the same way, dude. I've never jumped off the river. It's just taken me, and like I feel like I'm
Yeah.
not even active in trying to
But
have a
have you
choice.
found peace and solace in that? Like,
I
have
did
Not
you?
for a
yet.
long time, but now I'm going like, oh fuck, dude, I should have jumped off.
I mean, I would be super happy if I had money. If this is my life and I had money, I'm done. That's
Right,
great.
right.
The reason I haven't found solace is because every fucking month I've got to figure it out.
So you have to do
And
it.
yeah, and that's what I'm saying, especially when it comes to this business. Not to get back to it, I'm sorry, I'm the one who put a fucking embargo on it. Uh, there's you. It just feels like you have very little control. I mean, like COVID and strikes, and then and it's like now just the companies aren't making anything, so it's like, what am
We
I to
have
do?
we have
What is a
very
poor
little
boy to do?
control. We have very limited control over how we can impact the houses that they have built. They
Yes.
built them that way.
So
And the proof of that is the economic differences between the highest and the lowest. Like they have, we are living in our bubble has now moved
well,
into their
totally.
multiverse.
But
We go
let me
in
ask
and out of their multiverse.
let me ask you a question just to focus because
Yeah.
I completely agree with that. I'm wondering, and I don't know if this is me spewing communism or some sort of propaganda, but you know how like the all those 80s movies were about like the factories closing and the town is
Mm-hmm.
going under and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. Is that just what we're going through now? Only the factories are conglomerations and they're just eating each other, and we're just sitting here going like,
Yeah.
the town of Hollywood, we need
For
help.
sure. The next generation of because and the reason why the answer is yes, and the reason why they just keep failing is because they don't have a duty built into them to either give back or to take care of anything, even the community that
Well,
they're
yeah, I
in.
mean the whole thing is like
They are
completely
devoid of that.
unsustainable. Like
It is,
if the whole goal is to give your board or stockholders more
stake,
money,
right?
you can't do that forever. And we're at that point where now these CEOs are like look at Boeing, they're just like slashing safety because like they need their shareholders to get more money or they won't have a job.
And all of a
But
But
they
there
sudden,
is
already
no
have
more
Amazon,
money.
and in both situations, not even the government stepped in to say, hey,
nope.
we've heard that there's undercover stories of people taking shits like on the not in the bathroom to save time, and they don't even
So,
Yeah.
go
but
in to correct it.
No.
right, but like I don't need the government to save me. I mean, maybe I do. I don't know. I just feel like the
No, no,
government is the
no,
next thing,
no, you don't.
right?
You
Like
don't we don't need the fucking government. We are
No, but I'm just
slaves to the
saying,
no, I'm just saying we're slaves to the government. We have
I'm
been
saying
every
they
one of
can.
our go ahead. Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No,
You saw I
no,
was getting a little,
no. I mean, here's the thing: there's a lag between all three of us, and we're all stepping in
he's
the right
he's
way. But
he's he's scaring me. He's angrily yelling that we're
Phil's getting a little
slaves,
too
and it's
militant.
making me uncomfortable.
No,
My white guilt. I'm the only
we're
white guy here, man.
we're trash. We're trash.
No,
Whoa.
I agree. I agree. But and I guess my question is, and Willie, do you remember what you're gonna say?
well, I was just going to say I don't know if this is grass is greener or if I feel like there are other smaller countries in the world that, like, like Switzerland and even Spain, that like
Right. Yeah.
where they are trying to do good for their community. And so they
Just
have
off the
rules.
bat, though, they never had to like arm the world, and like
I know.
because
but they
because
didn't
of
need.
that one
No
thing.
one ever needs to arm the world.
Well, we saved the World War II, and like without us, who knows,
But
right?
the
And
idea that
and
we
and
even were in, that we've even had world wars, that's even been a
well, now you're
part of
going
our
way. I
history.
mean, sure,
I'm saying
sure.
because what we're dealing with today is a byproduct of a system that was created long ago by people that were at the same point in the evolutionary scale as we are today. The only
No,
difference
but
is
like
time.
you're right. You're right.
And I'm not trying to be right. I'm just saying, like, this shit has gone
Well, no,
on for
I
so
think to that.
long that
I just
we're
think
conditioned. We're just the next container of milk coming out of the factory,
yeah, totally,
homogenized,
totally.
full on
But I
pasteurized.
feel
This
like
packaging's a little wrong. We're gonna just get rid of it.
But I
Yep.
feel like it's like we're the most fucked milk because I don't know. It used to be able you could just like and listen, bear with me through this metaphor. This is a metaphor.
I'm with you on the milk.
Certain
I'm waiting
things
on
will
this
seem
one.
like a yeah, okay. So in the beginning, the town had a cow, and everybody drank the milk from the cow, and maybe it was one guy's cow, and they paid him. I don't know. It doesn't matter. And the milk just came out, and they drank it, and then later they thought that was disgusting or something, so they decided to fucking put regulations on the milk. So now, like your milk has to go through these amounts of processes to even become milk somehow.
Sure.
And I think like that's the same as us as people, like because before World War II, maybe the military budget was out of control. I don't know, but it definitely is now. And that's what I'm saying. It's just like through the years where we just get like more and more like complex about everything, it's harder and harder to fix. So
Yes.
now like
Yeah.
we live in America, and we give trillions. And I know that's like what a long-winded way to say something that like everybody knows. But
No, no, no. But it's nice to just justify the fact that we all want to fix things, but to fix things, you just have to learn the process of how to fix it. And they made it very
but it's
difficult.
like
We've learned
exactly.
that
It's a knot. You ever like get a knot and you're just like, how the fuck did this happen? And
but
you sometimes you can't even like get the knot. It's so complicated, you just can't even figure it out. And then you just
but
throw
the
the
idea
shoes away.
but think about this though. And when you said that, I was thinking like a line of rope, or cable
Sure.
on a show, right? Think about this.
Okay.
At some point, that cable, that rope, that string was straight.
I
Some
know.
fucking asshole came in and tied fucking knots. That's what happened. Like, it
Well, and
came off the
sometimes it's
it came
you.
off the reel. It came off the reel or off the roll completely straight. And then somebody said,
Well,
"Oh
that's
no, we
my
got to
that's
slow
my
down
point.
production. You got to change things up." But the rest of the world has moved based on some of those changes. Let's go back to your milk analogy. At
Okay.
some point, a person said, "I don't like the way that this tastes. There's a better way that I think it should taste." And you know what? Because I have this better way that I think it should taste, I'm going to charge you to do this thing. Why? Because
Right.
we are predisposed that if I'm going to do something for you, I need you to do something back for me. And in that,
Yeah.
how long were people drinking milk before they needed this homogenization process?
Yeah, for reals. I don't know.
Like they
Have
were
you guys
fucking
tried?
fine drinking milk. They were
I know
fucking
we're
fine
lost.
drinking raw milk.
I know we're lost in a metaphor, but have you guys tried milk from the cow before?
No, I've never even seen a cow.
It
It's a little different.
is. It is a million times different. It
Yeah,
I
does not
know,
but
but
even.
what?
You
Like
wouldn't
in
even
what
know
way?
it's the same thing.
But is
It
it grosser?
has.
Because you have a huge gag reflex, and I can't imagine you drinking
Yeah,
milk straight
dude.
from
I
the cow.
can't. I really can't handle it.
Do you
It's
know how hypocritical that is of you?
It's thick and strong.
You're talking about fluoride in the water and shit, but like you won't drink milk from a cow.
Ooh.
Sorry.
I don't think that's. I don't.
brother.
I don't
You
think
don't
that's
even know you're in
hypocritical.
the Matrix, Willie.
I don't think that's hypocritical because we're not supposed to be drinking cow milk. We're supposed to be drinking human milk.
You know what? I'm not calling you Wade anymore. I'm calling you Neo now. Because we're trying to get him out of the Matrix, man. Or no, you're not Neo. You're not the Oracle. Morpheus. You're Morpheus now.
I'll be Morpheus.
And Willie, you're Neo. But the idea is, and this is the thing that I think
the biggest compliment anyone's ever given me.
I think that this is that line that connects through everything. It all comes down to the sales pitch, because someone made this homogenization process seem better. Was it because people were dying from drinking raw milk from a cow? No.
Well, our stuff is illegal in London, right? In the UK. And their stuff is illegal here. And we're just like on our sides of the pond going like, no, this milk is better. Like,
right.
Whatever the fuck you're talking about.
And how about this? Yeah. And then there's the reality of it. We're not cows. We're not supposed to drink cow milk. We're supposed to drink milk right off the titty. You know why? Because they're humans. What other species drinks another species' milk in all of fucking nature? I'll wait.
Yeah, but we won. Maybe the reason we won is because we can utilize those other animals to our benefit, and they can't do that. They don't know how.
Yeah,
we won. Sorry, we won, and we're ruining the planet. Cows.
I know. I'm like,
get some teeth or something.
Cats and dogs drink milk because we give it to them.
They're all lactose. We're all lactose intolerant, right? Aren't we not?
Dude, we're lactose intolerant. Your body is saying, if you drink this, I'm going to explode your guts. And that's not enough for us to say, maybe we're not supposed to drink this. No, you know what I need?
It's more about the cheese,
someone
man.
would come up with the lactate or the cheese. Hey, look. The cheese is awesome.
Cheese and ice cream, really. I don't think anyone's going like, I got to drink a gallon of milk.
But I have to eat that whole fucking cheese tray.
You do, and you should. And this is how you build your world, by being okay with eating a bunch of cheese.
So my house is built out of charcuterie.
Exactly. I mean, booze and cheeses. That's all I need.
That's it.
I had cheese for dinner. That's all I had. I got off the plane, ate a bunch of cheese, and I started drinking.
Yeah, because you got to have something to wash that cheese down. You got to have something to wash that down.
You got it. Let's wrap it up. Yeah, it feels like.
Yeah.
I think you guys made a lot of ground, covered a lot of ground with it.
I think we enlightened a lot of people.
I think the idea of the multiverses that we're living in, I think we are all our own bubble. And we're all trapped in this same bubble planet. That's my closing take on it. And we're not really. It's
really weird to think about that. Because what if that's true? Like, I don't want to like really dive into that because it's too heady. But like, how like everyone knows what green is, but like, what if you just saw green as like purple, but no one knew that, you didn't know it, no one knew it.
Nope,
it's nuts, right? And that's kind of like what you're saying about our world. It's just like, I see it this way. And
I always think about wanting to make my world better, but I'm like, how many people does it make their world worse? You know what I mean? Not that I'm trying to like adjust my world to theirs, but I'm also like, I am a part of a community, and I feel like my world's better if I can team up with other worlds.
I would add.
So you are saying that you think about that?
Yeah. Because even the people that I don't like, I'm like,
but why do you
make a better world?
Why do you feel like that? See, there's a why you feel that way, I think. And I think it has to do with having been on the other side of the condition. Because those people that have never been on that side of the condition, who always seem to be the
Yeah.
The people who are making the decisions for the masses.
Yeah, dude.
How can you possibly be making decisions for the masses when you're not one of the common people? I don't understand.
Perfect little tiny small example. Like I'm trying to plan our reunion, and somebody who like chimed in is like, well, we can't do it that weekend because I have the Metallica concert to go to. And I'm just like, dude, are we going to change the whole thing because of you? I don't know, I don't want to do that. It makes me want to immediately go like, well, we're doing it that weekend then but I haven't done that.
Yeah. Like, dude, are you an outlier to civility?
If I made that comment, it would be a joke though. Did you ever consider that it might be a joke?
Oh, I know it's not because he's got the tickets.
No, I mean, we can't do it that weekend because I feel like that's a joke. I know he's going to the Metallica concert.
That's because it is so far-fetched from your consciousness to do that.
No, he confirmed.
Well, I like to give people the benefit of the doubt, and I think it's funnier to think of it as a joke. Like, good one, man. That's so funny that we would move the whole thing because you were going to Metallica. That's funny. You're a funny guy. You've always been a funny guy. We'll miss you at the reunion.
But it's not really funny. It's like, that's
funny
you.
If I believe it to be. See, in my world, everything is a joke.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. It's the best.
So wait, are you saying that you create a world with no walls?
No, God, I have numerous walls. My walls are lead plated, but I just don't let anyone else's universe bump into mine so hard that it fucks mine up. I'm fine with you being an idiot. Yeah,
I'm cool. I like being in my bubble, and I can see out, and I can. Yeah, sometimes when I get to another person's bubble, as soon as we touch, I push their bubble away because I can see into your bubble.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, no.
Yeah, and they're like insane, I just like,
and they're coming at you like, I can't wait to see you, Mitchell. Like, no, I'm good.
but I think we just illustrated like how hard it is to do change, right? Because we're both like we're good in our bubbles, like everyone else fuck off. And I don't know, maybe that's what the senators are doing, like as long as they have their $1 billion that they can go retire on.
Holy shit, man.
I just think we've been fucked for a while. That's why
I think you're fucking right. And I don't know why I never thought of it that way. Like, so we thought of like a Marjorie Taylor Greene, if we thought of every one of these politicians who are just batshit crazy, if we just break them down to the fundamental, hey, they're just in their bubble trying to reinforce their bubble.
It just makes me say that, like, I'm not a cannibal, but I wouldn't mind eating a couple of them.
God damn, Will, Jesus Christ.
Well, no, I mean, let's go. Let's go back to the stars metaphor and fucking let's crash into a lot of these assholes and fuck up their bubbles.
I was gonna say, because Will, you had mentioned earlier, like, how do we change and how do we get better and how do we transform and transcend? I think those collisions, although they are bad, and it destroys the majority of the matter, what it has left in its remains are like the bacterial, nodes and formation elements that have to combine to then start and regenerate and come as a new thing with a new consciousness.
Yeah.
So when
you say that,
it doesn't exist in the same time frame.
It makes me say, gosh, man, I really, because I my whole life I've been very quiet. Other than this show, I don't like talk to strangers and like push my beliefs on anybody. And I don't want to push, but I want to have conversations, and it makes me go,
absolutely.
Maybe I should have some more conversations because I still have.
Well, they have to be consensual, or it's just going to be you
yelling
at Moose in 40 years about fucking space. Yeah, and he's going to be like, "Okay, Dad, I'm trying to pay rent."
and Moose not having
projecting,
and Moose not having a single idea of why he feels the way that he feels.
Yeah.
All right, we got to end this episode because I need to go to the bathroom and I need to refuel in numerous ways.
All right, gentlemen.
Thank you all for listening, and Hilton, thank you for being here again. We're gonna continue the conversation on our Real Life More Sci-Fi. It's on patreon.com/RealLifeSciFi. Get access to it there. And remember, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not after you. We'll see you next
Oh, they
time.
are.
Bye. Watch out for my world. I'm gonna go pee.
Definitely watch out for it.
Real life sci-fi.